Good morning, everybody. How are we doing, Sam? Let's kick off another week here on United People's TV. We've got Liverpool on Sunday. Yeah, I'm nervous. Looking forward to it, though. Anyway, it's the international break. This is always the biggest part of the dip. Well, the biggest part of the dip was yesterday, really. The countdown to Liverpool begins. I'm going to run through, have a conversation about Lisandro Martinez. Don't think he's going to be fit for the game, but sounds like he's closing in on his return. How long has it been since he played? 8-9 months? Don't know. Going to do a full internationals roundup. We'll speak about Cunha, Sesko, Senna. We'll speak about Casemiro, Højlund. We'll also have a conversation about Adam Wharton. Steve Parish was speaking about him yesterday on TalkSport and United's interest in him. Let's have a little conversation about Adam Wharton. Run through the rest of the news. There's been plenty. Geez, last week we had loads of conversations around potential takeovers and potential interest from Saudi Arabia and then from UAE, what went on. The Athletic did a really good article kind of summarising everything that was happening, all the noise. And I can see there's particular conversations happening around, are the Glazers going to be selling by 2027? I'll run through that conversation and you can let me know. Now, who had a good weekend? What did you get up to? Let me know in the chat and I'll say hello to everyone. Schwab, can I say good morning to you, dude? Kicking off this week with a little cheeky 10 memberships. I know it sounds a bit... I always found myself like I don't know. I think it's so incredible that that's become like one of the habits of the community. I really do, man. Yeah, Chris Fergie staring us down in the background. He's permanently over my shoulder, just making sure I don't misbehave. That's probably going to be one of the weirdest things that anyone ever sends to the PO box. If you do want to send in anything, Fran, sorry. I do apologise. I still haven't got some of these up. This weekend, I was painting for like 7 hours. And I'm crap at painting. That's what I did at the weekend. Faye, you went to a Travis Scott concert. Nice. Elliot scored in your Sunday league. Was it a banger? Is there proof? If there's not a video, you didn't do it. You're lying. Alex saying kid scored a hat-trick on Saturday for Chislehurst Wanderers. What a team name there. Scott, you went to a couple of car shows. Built a shed. That's some top tier. That's like top tier dad in that weekend. No deliveries due today. David, that's a funny comment. Does anyone remember the mannequin? Man, that was in my old flat. I remember printing off, I had like a Højlund mask, Martinez mask, definitely had a Mason Mount mask. That was my way of trying to sort of improve the studio. I think we've improved it a little bit better. Mike, you passed your master's degree. Congratulations, sir. One step closer to being a chartered accountant. Very nice. Congratulations, dude. Who's here from the mods and the members gang? Let's say hello to everyone and we'll get on with today's show. Alex, good morning to you. JC, good morning to you. Carl, you're there as well. Josh, you're there too. We've got Rex, we've got Teclon, Richard, Chris, we've got Shmee, we've got Giggity. John Neal, good morning to you. Some non-members too. We've got Mamu, we've got Pat Martin, Shane Greenan, Victor, and Derek. Good morning to all of you. And Eric, man. Good morning to you as well, man. All of you. Today, I apologise if anybody's been trying to connect your YouTube account to your Discord and it's not been working. I've got to reconnect it all. It's on my to-do list for today. It's going to be happening today. Right, let's get on with today's show. As always, please do get involved in the chat, and I'll try and involve as many of you as I possibly can. Start with this news. I'm looking at this going, can you not bloody wait a couple of weeks? Please. Like Marinakis, it's like sabotage from within, isn't it? It's mad. Anyway. Postecoglou's on the verge of being sacked already after they sacked Nuno. So what's that, 6-7 games in? I don't even know how many games it is. And now Sean Dyche coming in. Oh, please, for the love of God, don't make it so that we've got to go to Forest away when it's a Sean Dyche Forest. And it's like the worst thing that you can get for your United team. Like playing against low, disciplined, deep blocks, especially a Dyche one. That'll be a grim game. So fingers crossed, Marinakis, can you just keep Ange there for a few more weeks? Look, someone down there, Real, you're saying two comments there. One saying sacking Nunes was a bad move. The other one saying Ange out is a madness. Sacking Nuno was the madness, right? going from Nuno to Postecoglou was a madness. Like, you're going from a coach who has completely built his team over deep line blocks and explosive counterattacks to Postecoglou. You couldn't get any more of an opposite style of manager. Oh, it's not worked. Oh my God. Incredible. So, yeah, just keep him in for a few more weeks, all right? Then sack him after. That's what I'm saying. Christos is saying, hi, Sam. Would you pick Martinez versus Liverpool on Sunday? Absolutely no way in hell. Even if he is fit. I still wouldn't have his first game back after 9 months, or however long it's been, being Anfield. As good as he was there last year. Mark, you saying, been a member for 3 months? Good morning to you. Now, Infinity saying, Sam, would you rather play against Ange, who beat us 4 times last season? Forgot about that. And to be fair, in the Europa final, he completely went into a low block anyway. But yeah, who cares? Let's focus on, what is it? Liverpool away, Brighton at home. I'm going to that one. So yeah, it's definitely Brighton at home. And Spurs away before Forest. Now, I'll tell you what. Let me explain what this is. This here is a graphic that was made as part of an article that the Athletic released this morning. And I tell you what, it feels like one of those roll your sleeves up and defend your players. Right, let me just explain what it is. Agents believe that Sesko's move to United was the worst deal of the window. This is published by The Athletic, by the way. When 20 agents were surveyed, some voted for more than one player, and Sesko received the most votes. That's Sesko at the top there. And Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak at the bottom with 1 vote. And I'm sitting there going, first of all, just like imagine giving a crap what agents think about the best deal of the window. I mean, come on, hey, look, it is the international break if you're looking at this. Man, it is the international break. Like, am I personally offended by this? Nah, not really. But like, stuff like this, it's kind of, this is what I think fan channels really sort of should be there for. Like, to come out swinging for your players, to defend your players, to come out in defense of Sesko, because this is going to be the easiest video in the world to defend Sesko after he's actually had a pretty decent start. I did a video yesterday. I'll run through that in a minute. He's had a pretty decent start. They're still trying to find a way where Sesko tops. That's mad. Of course, the agents who were involved in... agents would love the Wirtz and Isak deals. How much was it worth? 116. Oh, how much was my commission? Oh, I love that. They don't care about how... The worst deal out of all of those, by the way, is James Trafford. It's not even close. The agent of James Trafford absolutely screwed. To be fair, he didn't screw him. City screwed him. But it's just, it's a bit of a random one. Really, really random one. Someone down there saying worst deal in terms of what? The perspective of the agents. But it's a very, very strange piece to do. So I'm going to roll my sleeves up and I'm going to come out swinging for my striker. Because that's what I do on this channel. Like, I know that I've gone after United players as well when my patience has run out. That's kind of the swings and the emotions of being a fan. But I did this video yesterday. It's one that we've been working on this week. Talking about Sesko's start at United. It wasn't blistering. It wasn't firing out from the blocks. Amorim slowly introduced him. But 2 goals in 2 games. Going to Anfield now in some good form. And that game against Sunderland was his best game. And we sort of picked out moments from the profile that we did before we signed him. Well, no, we dropped it when he was signed, and just sort of following up on it. Manny is saying if the Premier League had a Rookie of the Year award, Sesko would be on the shortlist. Wait until he lets loose. I'm sorry, I just got distracted there thinking about like the PFA Young Player of the Year award, and sometimes you can be up for both the Young Player of the Year award and the Player of the Year award. I've always found that really confusing and strange. Anyway, Andrew saying, oh, Sam, you're killing me. United fans defending their players. We attack them more than our opponents. It's all United fans talk about. Andrew, I can't speak for other people. I can speak for how I operate with United People's TV, of course someone rings me. I actually think it's just a bunch of Liverpool fans who just permanently ring me every single show. I can only speak for how I run United People's TV. And people point at me. People laugh at me. People say that I'm in the pockets of Amarin or Ten Hag or anybody else, that I'm defending more than others. But no, I'm just a United fan that realises that there's going to be more benefit, potentially, to my football club if I'm trying to not project positivity for the sake of it, but to highlight those things. Sure, I disagree, and it's not exactly been the best start of the season, but that's always going to be my natural position. So I'm definitely going to be coming out swinging on this, because it's going to be a very, very... If they've got... What did I say, audacity? It's not really audacity. As I said, this feels like an international break article. I think it's a shame that it's come from The Athletic, who I think, as far as news outlets go, is probably the one I respect the most. But yeah, if they want to do that, then I'll come out in response. And yeah, he played 90 minutes against Kosovo. It's a shame he couldn't bag a couple of goals. But let's run through what happened in the international break, all right? We've got, there's Senny on the bench. Wasn't actually on the bench for, who was it, the Belgian playing? Can't remember. But it was Celts. It was the Forest, was it Forest goalkeeper? I think it was. Courtois still the number one. How old's Courtois now? Don't know. Pretty damn good mentor for him to have. But he wasn't even on the bench. He was just enjoying himself. Cunha. Good thing about Cunha. Obviously, I think if you look at Cunha's last couple of appearances, so was it came off the bench against Chelsea when he came back from injury. And he didn't look 100%. He didn't, did he? And was it Sunderland that Mount started instead of him? I think it was. And Cunha's just not looked 100% fit since he had that little niggly injury. But he's out there playing for Brazil. He and Casemiro both got an assist for Brazil. So it's been a good international break so far for Cunha, which would be a good thing. Because random question here. And I'm going to be speaking about the game properly in detail later. If you had to pick, fire it in the chat. Who do you think is going to be the most important player for United at Anfield? Fire it in the chat. There's some contenders you can do. So, like, if United get a good result against Liverpool at Anfield, who's going to be our man of the match? Probably going to be either Sene. I think Cunha is going to be right up there. Sesko, probably Mbumo. Quite a lot of you are saying Sene. Simon, you're saying Bruno. Could be Bruno if he has one of his games. He's not had the best of starts this season, let's be honest, but he's just struggling in a deep position. I'll speak about that a little bit later, actually, because he spoke about it himself on international break. Quite a few of you are saying Brian. De Ligt. Bruno on the counter. Mainu if he starts. I don't think it would be Mainu. I'll speak about Mainu. Quite a few of you are saying Bruno. I think that's kind of fair enough. But anyway, we'll speak about the game a little bit later. But Cunha, he's enjoying a decent international break. I have to laugh at this. Højlund scored again. I think that's 8 goals he's got this season so far. And that's his 4th game in a row that he scored. Really happy for him. I'm genuinely really happy for him. Again, like Garnacho, I don't want Garnacho to ever have one individual good performance for Chelsea ever. I hope he doesn't go to the World Cup. I hope he's serving pints in a bar in like 7 years because his football career has gone to crap. Maybe that's a bit harsh. Anyway, I don't want him to do well. Højlund, really happy for him. I think if you saw the goal, was it Greece? He scored. It was just a really bad back pass, but he pounced on it, dinked it around. He's definitely going to be joining Napoli on a permanent deal. So what's that? Is it 40 million euros obligation? I think all in all, I think United will get something like 50 million euros back for Højlund. I think we spent 72 million pounds. What's that? Is that 80 million euros? There or thereabouts. Anyway, it's good to see him doing well. Yeah, that was a little bit harsh on Garnacho. Oh, well. Never mind. Bruno played nearly the full game against Ireland. Portugal won 1-0. Delo played an hour as well. Still round up there. And Lenny Yoro played 90 minutes for France's under-21s against Faroe Islands. So you should be keeping a clean sheet against Faroe Islands, but good. Another 90 minutes for Lenny Yoro. All in all, touch wood. Famous last words and all that. No real injury concerns from the... Actually, no, that's a lie. There's one minor injury concern coming from the international break. Where is it? Aiden Heaven went down in the first half for England's under-20s. Played out the first half, but then didn't come out for the second half. So I don't know what's going on with Aiden Heaven. But that's, so as far as I can see, is the only sort of injury concern that we've had. I might have missed some, but I don't think there's any others. And another international break where Cobby's not involved, and just another international break where he's just grafting and putting the yards in. Oh, going to get shut down for music there. Thank you. Obviously working on his ability to hold the ball under pressure. That's, I'm guessing, what that drill is about. I mean, what else would that drill be about? Just receiving the ball under pressure. Mate, I tell you what, Cobby looks in shape. Cobby's been putting in the graft. Off the pitch. On the pitch, we all know he's not been getting a mad amount of opportunities, but a bit like Bruno, I don't think anybody's really been incredible in midfield. Let's see what happens with Cobby's chances in this international break. It's just a case of, between now and January, how much game time is this lad going to get? And is it going to be enough to give him the opportunity to play at the World Cup? And if not, I think January, that he's going to be leaving on loan. As it stands, I'd be surprised if he didn't leave on loan. Certainly be surprised if he didn't push for it. John, you're saying he needs a new contract. If you're Cobby right now, just be completely honest here. Like, take your red tinted specs off. If you're Cobby right now at Manchester United, are you going to be putting pen to paper on a new long-term deal? You wouldn't, would you? Because you don't right now, as it stands, have guarantees about your future at the football club. I wouldn't do it. I can only speak about myself there. So let's see what goes on. Maddie, you're saying he's not taking the opportunities when he gets them. I always feel like it's always so harsh when he reached that sort of situation as a player. I think it's like, if you're on the fringes and you come in, you can't just have a semi-decent performance. You've got to properly stand out and go above and beyond to force your way into the conversation. Like, so if you do get an opportunity, you can't just have like a decent 7 out of 10 performance. That wouldn't be enough to force you into the team. So like, there's extra pressure on it. Kind of comes with being on the fringes. It's very hard to force your way back into it. A little random one here as well. Enzo Canabiak. We obviously signed him in this summer from Le Havre on a free. Then he went on loan to Lausanne. And he got injured. But he scored on his France under-19s debut. A little random one for you. Not really much point in doing a sort of an update on what's happening with him. I want to apologise, Sonny, by the way. The videos I've been speaking about, with the series that we're starting on Baleba, on Wharton, on Anderson, Steve, don't shoot me. We had the script ready on Friday. I just got so distracted doing stuff around the house and painting and crap that I didn't record it this weekend. So we're a little bit... It was supposed to go out on Wednesday. I'm going to try and get it recorded today because it's already done and dusted in terms of the research. And fingers crossed that'll go out. And coming in here, sharing a super chat that he's in Turkey. Just to let you know, everyone, I'm sitting in the sun. Just wanted to say. I hope it's cloudy now. No, I don't. Enjoy the sun. I'm very happy for you. Right, let's move on to one more conversation before we have a chat about Adam Wharton. I covered all of this last week. It kind of took us by surprise, and it felt like it existed partly because of the international break. Probably, and I think we all knew that at the time, but I covered the stories properly. Was it Turk al-Sheikh from Saudi, the Sports Authority, the Entertainment and Sports Authority, big figure in Saudi sports, got everyone talking. I covered the first day, and then the second day about potential interest from UAE investors. It's always felt to me like anything to do with that is going to be mainly stadium related. But then there's loads of conversation about, the Glazers are selling in 2027. They're going to sell before 2027. What's actually being said? The reason that that's been taken or said is this, right? And that's been grabbed as a headline and sort of like, the Glazers are going to sell before 2027. Like we're finally it's done. This is from an article from The Athletic from Laurie Whitwell and the team on all the noise that happened last week. And why is anybody talking about 2027? It's this, right? Is it in the Glazers' interest to sell? Now, whether they have an appetite to sell or not is the question, but the terms of the agreement with Ratcliffe arguably make it in the family's interest to do so before 2027. And this is why. If the Glazers try and sell their shares, Manchester United share, trying to sell Manchester United before February 2027, then Ineos and Ratcliffe, due to the terms of the agreement they were both signed, they have to get $33, which is what they put in. That's what the Ineos bought their shares at. So effectively what they're saying is before 2027, there's a floor price, the minimum. The absolute minimum that Manchester United could be bought for. And that's why the idea of 2027 is being bandied around, and you can see it being talked about on social media. Right? It doesn't mean that the Glazers are going to sell before 2027. It doesn't mean that they have intentions to sell. It just means that there's actually a floor price that it can't possibly go below because of the terms of the agreement with Ineos. Right? So that's it. Do I think it's going to happen? I'd love it to happen. What I wanted to happen was from the very, very beginning was that after 18 months, somewhere between 18 months and 3 years, we'd hear more noise from Ratcliffe and Ineos about taking a bigger percentage of the ownership away from the Glazers. Haven't actually heard anything to follow up on that, if I'm being honest. Simon is saying, would Ineos walk away? I don't know what you mean by walk away. What, sell up their shares for exactly how much they've invested and then go away with a net zero? I don't particularly think that's the case. Anyway, that's everything that was covered on the takeover conversations in the Glazers and UAE and Saudi. And as it stands, it's not really anything to follow up on that. I think the next conversation that we have in anything to do with it is going to be around the stadium. And it may well be that it's to do with equity in the club. There's plenty of different methods. Jim Ratcliffe could, in theory, just throw billions of his own cash in, but I think the only people that would ever do that would be Middle Eastern. Like, to the point where they've got that much money that $1 billion or $2 billion is a play toy. Then there's only a very, very select few people that can do that in the world, and that's not going to be Jim Ratcliffe. You could sell more shares in United. You could release more shares and then sell that extra equity. That could pay. You could sell the stadium naming rights. You could bring in more debt. All these different things. Matt, you're saying, do you think that if Ineos take over full control at United, we will prosper more on the pitch and off the pitch with signings? As soon as the Glazers are not in a majority control of Manchester United, we're all going to have like an overwhelming sense of relief. That's going to be a buzz. And we'll ride that wave for a little while. I'll be honest and say that I I can't possibly sit here and say with absolute confidence that Ineos would be the perfect owners that would take us back to winning titles and trebles and dominance again. What I know is that they wouldn't be the Glazers. What I know is that they would actually have ambitions of winning things, of being the best, of being at the top. Whether they could get you there is a different long-term question. But this is the thing that always pisses me off about anybody trying to put Ineos in the exact same boat as the Glazers. The Glazers have never had ambitions to win anything at Manchester United ever since day one. It's that United won in spite of the Glazers' ownership. They've never done anything to benefit the football club's ambitions, ever. And being rid of that mindset at the top of our football club would be a massive relief. But yeah, I'm not sure that I would currently have faith in Ineos being full owners of Manchester United. I think they've still got to prove quite a bit. Smeagol saying if they keep having windows like our last one, I've got hope. I think we did have a good window. Of course, one player that we missed out on, not necessarily Adam Wharton, but we missed out on a midfielder. This is why, let's have a little chat about Steve Parish's comments on Adam Wharton. You remember I did a video, start of the summer window. I ran through my dream summer. I had Cunha, I had Mbumo, and the midfielder I had was Wharton, not Baleba. Now, they are, for me, like fundamentally two very different profiles of midfielder. Would I have been excited and happy if we signed Baleba? I think we all saw the lives. We all went through those. Of course I would have been. Right? Has he had a very shaky season so far? Yes, he has. And that video is going to be coming. I saw Steve did one. It's like, damn, must have some moles on the inside. Mo, you're saying Adam Wharton would be great. But look, this is what Steve Parish said about... Is Steve Parish the... What's his role at Crystal Palace? I don't know the exact role. Co-owner. There you go. Right. Not really a role. It's just a co-owner. But this is what he said about United's interest in Wharton. I think it was about there.
Show that, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, it's a difficult games programme for us right now. So, I think he's very committed to the club and the I don't know where all this stuff comes from.
Well, there's no smoke without fire, Steve, is there? Surely.
Well, I mean, if Manchester United want Adam Wharton, that's nothing, surprising really about that. The fact of the matter is he's got a long contract to run. There's no pressure on us to do it, and I don't think there's any real pressure from the player either. So,
right, I want to ask you a question, and I don't know whether this is going to be a bit of a biased question to ask now. Start a poll. Choose one, right? Wharton or Baleba. And as I said, I don't know whether that's the fairest of polls to do right now, given that Baleba's form has not been good this season. So therefore, there's going to be some recency bias in terms of the actual form of the player. But in the same way that people are going to talk about the risks of Baleba because of, is it a red flag because he's not been playing well? What does that actually mean? As I said, we're going to do a video on that with a bit more detail on it. People are going to speak about Adam Wharton's groin injuries that he had last season. And, has he got the body to do it? Is he not just going to be injury prone? You know what I mean? Like, I say this about every signing. There is not a perfect signing. There is always a risk with any player, whether that's from the Premier League or from anywhere else, right? Let me see what you're saying down here. William's saying we probably need both. Yeah. Our midfield is really going to get an overhaul this summer. We know that Casemiro's gone. I still feel that Manchester United, it feels like the succession plan is going to be put in play with Bruno. Don't know what's going on with Kobe, but I don't want Kobe to leave. Who else we got in midfield? We got anybody else? Can't even remember. Let me see what he's saying down here. Both are really good players. Baleba's more the profile we need. Dalron's saying that Baleba's a different level of player. Mr. Men saying Wharton will be 70 mil than 100 mil near the end of the window. Hassan saying would have chosen Baleba, but he's not been too great this season, so I'll go for Wharton and Anderson for the same price. There's no way you're going to get Wharton and Anderson for the price of Baleba. Let's be honest. Ideally both, says Brian, but at first it has to be Baleba. And if I look at the poll, very, very close. 325 votes from 52% of you are saying Wharton and 48% are saying Baleba. Ugarte. There you go, Richie. There's another one. I forgot about him. My bad. You could easily see, like, if we're playing Football Manager, release Casemiro, sell Ugarte, bring in Baleba, bring in Wharton. Complete it, mate. Even that's not. Who am I saying? That's not going to happen. We spent significantly more than I thought we were going to spend this summer. So who's to say that we're not midfield over? Like, you know how this summer it was all about the attacking overhaul. 200 million spent on 3 forward players. 200 million plus. Who's to say that we can't or wouldn't do the same thing in midfield next summer? Casemiro gone, Ugarte sold and replaced, and Bruno moved on. And then signing Wharton and Baleba? And then having Cobby in there? I suppose it's not impossible. Paul Scholes, what are we doing here, buddy? I don't think either is coming in January, he said. Off topic, my biggest complaint of Amram is he has used youth even less than Jose. I very much doubt that he's used youth less than Jose. Like, numbers-wise. That Amram's really protective. And you might say overcautious and overprotective, but he's, in terms of any young, like Senny coming in or Sesko coming in, has decided to really keep them out of the spotlight as long as he possibly could before putting them in the spotlight. The Heaven one I've been a little bit confused about, but he's injured now. What else is he saying down here? Mayo saying Baleba's more suited to the position. He's quicker and stronger and can burst through gaps. Wharton is a similar profile to Mainu, and we already have that. I wouldn't say he's a similar profile. I wouldn't say he's... Wharton is your... Carrick. That's the way I look at Adam Wharton. I look at his profile, and if I'm going to choose one fundamental characteristic that I love about his game, it's his passing range. Knows when to pass it short, knows when to knock it back in a quick 1-2, knows when to turn and knock it 30 yards, can find the line-breaking passes. He's a really good progressor from basically anywhere on the pitch. So that's his biggest strength. Baleba is somebody who, instead of having the vision to sort of look up and find that pass that's 30 yards, I shot that, I'm just going to take the ball myself and drive through that gap. Try and stop me. He progresses through the ball being at his feet. So he doesn't need to pass it to anyone else. He just sees a gap and has the confidence to go when he's on form. So they are different types of players. They're both progressors, but in different types of ways. What Wharton would be able to do, that I don't think Baleba would do as well by comparison, is actually control a game of football and slow a game down. Someone down there saying, what about Sekou Kone? Sekou Kone, speak about him. I'm going to speak about him a little bit later on, but might as well mention it now. Sully, fair play to him. Like, he's obviously got some sources inside the club, but doesn't really use it for negative stuff. But saying that he's returned to training with the under-21s, we spoke about it last week. He was in the gym with his personal trainer. It sounds like he is working his way back towards playing a game after the international break. So, all things considered, it's good news when it comes to Kone and his head injury. And bear in mind, look, I wasn't going to speak about this today, but I may as well just briefly mention it because this is whispers at this point, right? Just whispers. And these are just stuff coming out of Brazil and the Brazilian press, right? Saying this. Saying that United are one of the clubs interested in signing 20-year-old midfielder star Breno Biden, which is a very non-Brazilian name, from Corinthians. And you'll remember last couple of weeks, we've agreed a deal to sign Christian Orozco, the 17-year-old from Colombia. We're linked with signing 17-year-old Mo Darbo, the Senegalese lad. Two sort of imposing, deeper, physical, big central midfielders. And now we're linked with another midfielder. You can see where the focus is. You really can. Sesko Kone is somebody he's not a deeper number 6. He's like a 6'8", but I think he's probably going to be playing further forward. Some talking about Toby Collier. I'm going to be doing an update video on Toby Collier. Probably give him another couple of months at West Brom. Jack is saying, how much do you reckon we could get for Delo with the FFP? I honestly think Delo is a 30, 40 million pound sale. You might laugh at that, but I really do think he is. Anyway, midfield clearly is going to be United's priority. Wharton, let's go back to the poll. We can see 50-50, bang on 50-50 between Wharton and Baleba. Might do a video on that. No, I don't. Maybe. We'll see. And JC, by the way, I don't even know if I said thank you for gifting 20 memberships. I spotted that earlier and I didn't say anything. But dude, yes, last week you were so generous. To everybody who continues to be so generous, thank you for believing in the channel so much that you'll continue doing these gifts. Because it goes, A, it goes to bringing other people into the channel, and B, any money that comes into the channel, it gets reinvested back into it and helps me build the team that I'm building behind the scenes. I wish I could tell you about everything that we've got going on, but I want to can't do that yet. Got to keep it a surprise until it's ready to be spoken about. But yeah, Wharton, I think I might do a video on Wharton and Baleba a little bit later in the week. Now, this is a cool bit of news, right? Talking about Lisandro Martinez. Apparently flew out to Dubai to do some warm weather training as part of a designated training program. Current projection is going to be returning to group training after the international break. Man, I've missed this lad. I've missed Martinez badly. You know full well how quickly I fell in love with him as a player at our club. Because I think when Martinez came in, it was so difficult to point to a United player and say, oh, he gives a crap about playing for the club. You can see, but with Martinez, like, man, you just knew he was ready for war, man. He was ready for a scrap at any point. And at a time where I was really struggling to believe a lot of players had that attitude, he stood out like a sore thumb. If he's, and this is going to be the big question. I've got major concerns about his ability to come back into this team and be the player that we signed from Ajax. The amount of time he's been injured, it affects and changes players. And that's just natural. That's just, you're a physical human. He's had, how long has he been injured? I think the current injury, which was the ACL, is 8 to 9 months. But prior to that, he had it was back-to-back surgeries on his knee after the first one was botched. And then he had another little injury in between, and then this one on top. Like Brian, he's saying the new Luke Shaw. I think that's so unfair, man, to do that. His first one was a freak. No, his first one was metatarsal, and they ballsed it up. It wasn't his knee, was it? First one was a metatarsal, which is just literally an impact. It's a bone break. Came back, botched it, brought him back too soon. Got to do that again, mate. Oh, brilliant. Second one was when, was it Kufal, West Ham defender, just fell on his knee. Went in for a tackle off the side of the pitch, and he just fell on his knee and bent it backwards. And then the third one was the one where he went, oh. Because that was where it just didn't really look like too much of an impact. I think it was just His knee just went. I really, really, really hope he comes back fit, because if he is, man, he goes straight into that left centre-back position. It's not even a question. Luke Shaw, Vamos, sit on the bench. Handshake. Good luck elsewhere. Please leave Manchester United. Yeah, botched knee was Madison, because it was at the same time, I think. They both had botched surgeries. Either a coincidence, or I don't think it was the same doctor either. Yeah, metatarsal, ACL, I don't know. I know it was metatarsal first. He's had a rough ride, man. Mentally, that's going to be a hell of a strain. Physically, I don't know how he's... Like, the Premier League's got, I'm guessing, like we talk about how demanding the Premier League is. It's like the worst bloody league to come back into after injuries like these. And we've got no... Because we ballsed up the European football, we've got no European football. Because we got knocked out of the League Cup, we've got no League Cup games. So all he's got is Premier League games until January. And then it's the FA Cup. But that's all we've got. It's the only way that we can reintroduce him. I hope he's fit. And like ZM, you're asking about Martinez playing CDM. And I know he played there briefly at the start at Ajax, but Erik ten Hag said at the time that he's not got the physical capacity to play that role. I don't think he does. I don't think we need him to. He is he's either... You wouldn't play him as your central centre-back, because that's going to be the centre-back that's kind of properly going toe-to-toe with the opposition centre-forward. You play him left centre-back. That's his position, and there's no point speaking about any other roles. I hope he's back after the international break. It'd be great to see Martinez back at Carrington this week. So let's fingers crossed we see it in a couple of days' time. But to wrap up the show, let's just have a little brief... What's your feeling starting this week about Sunday, right? Stephen, I don't know why you're talking about Luke Shaw. When have I ever said that Luke Shaw hasn't had a rough ride? Don't put words in my mouth, mate. And we're also talking years down the line. We're also talking about a player who miraculously made himself fit for the England squad for the World Cup and then didn't play a game of football for United for 4 months. Yeah. Apples and oranges here, mate. Apples and oranges. Liverpool game on Sunday. I'm definitely going to be going into that game, and I don't mean this in a complacent way. I really, really don't. But I can't remember the last time I went into Liverpool away, and my mindset wasn't just like, please just don't get pumped. Like, just don't get steamed. Just don't get humiliated, please. I swear that's been how I've gone into Anfield for like, I don't know how many years, man. 5, 6 years? Sod knows, probably longer than that. I'm going to be going into this game on Sunday. Nervous, because you should be going to Anfield, man. But this is a Liverpool team that has got chinks in the armour now. They've got some whispers going on behind the scenes. They've got some grumblings in their fan base. They've got some weaknesses that we can expose. And I think Liverpool, unfortunately, for a decent amount of time, haven't had that at Anfield. Any time we've ever gone there, they've not had that. And that should give us a bit of confidence. I think so, anyway. What are we saying down here? Mike's saying optimistic about the game, but I fear Liverpool want to bounce back. Of course they will. But it's the same thing, like, they've lost 3 games in a row. What would you rather that they won 4 games in a row going into it? That's what I mean. You can always find a pessimistic angle on anything, any signing, any game, any moment. If you want to, you can go into that mentally from a pessimistic perspective. But if the players did that, they'll probably absorb themselves into the atmosphere of it all, and then the pessimism will come true. So it's kind of like mentally preparing yourself, glass half full, glass half empty sort of vibe. Gordon, we will get battered. That's funny. Adriano saying, feeling a Sesko header win and a 1-0. That'd be nice. City had the same weaknesses, but they battered us. I don't think City had as many weaknesses as Liverpool did right now. I really don't. And right now it looks like Haaland's going to be firing City to a target on his own. Jim is still... Has he replied to me yet? No. UPTV Jim has gone off the radar for a few days. It's not feeling good. Can't get staff these days. Part-timers. Right, Steve, you just want to get into a Shaw argument? You can go and go shout at the wall or something. Because I'm not here to have a personal conversation with you about Luke Shaw. Nearly United win, says Mr. Smith. Just to see the smile wiped off Carragher. Who gives a sod about Carragher? But look, plan of attack this week. I'm going to be, as I said, I think I'm going to come out swinging. I'm going to come out swinging for Sesko, swinging and defending my players that for some reason are still catching strays, even at a time where there's so many other players who absolutely should be in the spotlight. The Liverpool starting 11 will go out on Thursday or Friday. Game's on Sunday, so probably Friday. Not quite sure. We're going to have a video on ideally our sort of scouting series. We're going to be starting that with Carlos Baleba. It'll be a lot more in-depth than just speaking about him. There's going to be a lot of detail. And then any other ideas that you all have, please do fire them over. Any talking points, any things in the media being said, anything you'd like me to speak about, tag me in it on Discord, right? Joe, what are you saying? I know you did a video regarding the tweaks Amram did against Sunderland, but can you please use 2 minutes to run it again? I'm just trying to understand what happened. The tweaks against Sunderland, he definitely changed the pressing shape of United. It felt a lot more compact. So instead of having your centre forward and your two number 10s kind of running at the fullbacks and one centre back in isolation, they squeezed together and it ended up being like Mbumo and Sesko quite close together, almost as a 2. And then he had 4-4-2. He effectively dropped into a 4-4-2 shape and it worked. United were a lot more compact. We'll speak about tactics a little bit later in the week, close to the game. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to JC, to Eric, and to Schwab for gifting some memberships, as always. I really quite like the white lights in here now. I think it brightens it a lot. But sometimes, when we need to get a bit moody, we can get a bit moody. But in the main, we'll keep it nice and bright. All right? Let's check the poll. The results, we've got 800 votes are in. 53% of you are saying that you would sign Wharton. And 47 are saying Baleba, but it's very, very close. I might do a video on those two a little bit later in the week and we can have a chat. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I'll see you at lunchtime today. Right? Take it easy.